Good morning. Terrific Tuesday today. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Wealth. Three things that we will talk about. Historically, the week before election is good for stocks. Ant Group's mega IPO. And BlackRock is on the blue sweep bandwagon. The Dow dropped about 650 points on Monday as virus cases surged, adding to worries about the economic outlook after Congress and White House failed to agree on a much anticipated fiscal stimulus deal. Major indexes opened lower. The declines accelerated in the afternoon. In Dow, which suffered its steepest one-day point and percentage drop since September 3rd, 29 out of the 30 stocks fell on the day. All 11 sectors on the S&P 500 also suffered losses. The beaten-down energy sector was the weakest performer in the S&P on Monday, falling about 3.5%. Industrials, materials, communication services, and financials were all down more than 2%. In fact, tech also was down more than 2%. Utilities were relatively the bright spot, dropping less than 0.1%. Biggest decliners were the travel and leisure stocks that have come under pressure and most of this year. Royal Caribbean was down about 9.6%, United Airlines was down 7%, and Marriott was down about 5.6%. Overall, the Dow was down 2.3%. Apple was the only stock in the index to finish the day in the green, rising a penny. The S&P 500 was down 1.9% and the Nasdaq down by about 1.6%. All the three indexes are now down more than 5% from their records that were set earlier this year. The treasury yields also were lower, 4 basis points lower. So the treasury yield was about 0.80, the 10-year. The dollar rose against most of the G10 peers, with Loonie leading the descent. Gold was little changed and Asian equity futures are narrowly mixed. Historically, the week before the presidential election is good for stocks. Since 1928, the market has usually risen in the last full week before the contest. The S&P 500 has been up in 70% of those weeks, according to the Dow Jones market data. The gains are even more frequent if measured from Tuesday before the election to the election day. The index has risen in 91% of those instances. So the numbers are for the market to go up. But, the yesterday's price action was sharp on the downside. It remains to be seen how it will play out in the next couple of days. In other markets, the US crude oil futures fell about 3.2% to 38.56 a barrel. A ceasefire in Libya has led analysts to project the country's output will reach about 1 million barrels a day in the next 4 weeks, up from about 500,000 a day. Adding to the concern is also the fact that the rising infections can cause demand to dampen. Ant Group will raise $34.5 billion from its record IPO. Jack Ma's firm priced its Shanghai stock at about 68.8 yuan a piece and the Hong Kong shares at about $80 a piece to raise about 17 billion each before exercising the green shoe option. Ant will be valued at about 280 billion before the IPO, and the Hong Kong listing is set for November 5th. BlackRock is on the blue sweep bandwagon. The firm is downgrading its views on US government debt, with strategists citing the growing likelihood of a significant fiscal expansion under a unified democratic government. It joins a growing list of major firms like Credit Suisse and Goldman that have weighed in during the past month on the prospect of such an election outcome. Las Vegas Sands is exploring the sale of its flagship casinos in Las Vegas. The casino operator is working with advisors to solicit interest from potential suitors that may fetch about $6 billion or more for its properties, which include the Sands Expo Convention Center, the Venetian Resort, and the Palazzo. Lastly, on the FX front, the European Central Bank's monetary policy announcement is one of the most important events this week, and with virus cases surging across the region, the ECB will have no choice but to set the stage for easing before the year end. Diversification out of the US dollars is the only reason why Euro USD is trading above 1.18, but even that might not keep the currency supported for long. That's the update. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and speak tomorrow.